Hi there, it's Elaine here, and welcome back to my channel, Chattylaine Creates. And today I am going to do part 3 of my how to get started in collage. And today we're going to cover what types of collage there are, and I think we're going to do some collage today. Right, where's my little sheet of list? So, types of collage. Now, we're kind of going to start with something very simple. Something that you can do is find maybe 3 items. I mean, I tend to go with odd numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that page. Okay, it's 2 bits of washi, but it's still 5 items. Not quite sure whether that collage is really finished, but I kind of was doing it to go with this because obviously this colour's the same, and I just wanted to give you something to look at while I'm going through the list. That was my idea anyway. And I want to really give you an idea of what there is, because there isn't just one type of collage. I mean, there are vintage and modern. There's the Gluebook style, which there's kind of different ways of doing Gluebooking, but it's still basically collage. Collage is anything where you're sticking paper down to a page and creating a nice piece of art. Now, there are other types of collage that I probably haven't done, which Surreal. I don't do a lot of Surreal, but I do some funny, wacky stuff on occasions in my Gluebook. And there are things like mixed media collage where you're using paints and various mediums to create mainly backgrounds, I suppose, but you can still use your gel prints, for instance, if you've got scraps of gel prints, and create collages in a mixed media way. You can also use things like do a mosaic type of collage, where you're using square pieces of paper or card stock, maybe even scrapbook paper, to create like a mosaic effect. Or you can actually use bits of all sorts of magazine images in tiny pieces in different colours to create, say, a face, for instance. I've never done anything like it. I've seen some of them and they're absolutely amazing. I don't do anything like that. I can only show you what I do. But there are lots of other things that you can do. I quite like asymmetrical type of patterning, or the way I've created. There's a slight element of asymmetrical to this. Most of it's more to the left, except for the actual focal piece. It's just very minimal asymmetric, that one. And let's see if we've got another one in here that I find it quite difficult to explain how to do asymmetric. There's maybe a more corner piece, that one. There's nothing over here balancing it. I would put maybe this with just one piece over here to balance out kind of the negative space, so it's not completely all negative space, and that's something I would call asymmetric, I suppose. So the majority of it's here, and then you could put something small up in that corner, and just to kind of help semi-balance it a little bit. So yeah, that's the sort of thing that I would call asymmetric. I do like me geisha girls and Japanesey looking things. We had a Japanese dinner last night. My daughter loves ramen. She creates ramen, and we've got a fairly newish Japanese restaurant in our town, and over the last couple of weeks, my daughter went last month because she celebrated her and her boyfriend's sort of together for 6 years or whatever it was, and it's the day after my actual wedding anniversary, so we all went out in that week. Her boyfriend came over, and he lives over in the next county, so it's a couple of bus rides to get here for him or her going the other way. So they don't see each other every week. They tend to maybe see each other once a month, but he stays for, you know, can be a week when he comes, or 5 days at least. And he came over for that. They finished painting my door for me, which was wonderful. Trouble is now I'm having trouble getting in and out because the door's sort of swollen a little bit because we've had a lot of rain lately. Even though it's coated, it isn't going in the hole quite as well. But there we are. It still needs another coat, and I need door handles. I've just been moaning that I couldn't get in because in my garage, so you come in this way through into this room, and then you go that way into the garage. So there's 2 doors, and in the garage is my freezer, and I was trying to put some stuff away in the freezer yesterday after my shopping came, and I couldn't get in. I had trouble getting in. I had trouble getting in just now because it's been wet today as well. I found a little mousey. He's not very well cut out actually. So today I think what we'll do is we'll do a odd item kind of collage, a simple collage, probably in the vintage style. Oh, the other thing was reverse collage. Now, a reverse collage I've seen on Dee Dee Willingham's channel. She does it in the Abandoned Castles books and things like that. And what she does is she blacks out anything she doesn't want. So, I mean, she's very into galaxies and sort of slightly fantastical. I haven't actually done any myself yet. I've got the abandoned books, I've got abandoned places, and I've got abandoned castles because I love castles. And I do want to have a go at that. I don't know whether I'd actually do it on camera because I've never done it before. I also would like to do some surreal, quirky type collages, and I might give one of those a go on camera, but not in this actual series. So I think we'll get on and do maybe a couple of very straightforward, simple collages today, and we'll see how we go. So I decided to bring my glue books up, and I'll tell you why. My glue books are not very well used at the moment. I do keep meaning to. I find it really hard to cut out lots of stuff ahead of time, and I have to be in the mood for cutting because of my hands, which is why I do have the scissors I have. Let me just see if I can find them. All my paintbrushes are in the way. So these are both made by Fiskars. They're all spring loaded, and they're like what I would call a pliers type of scissors, and they've got really good points on them. Well, these small ones, my fussy cutting ones, but the big ones are they're both new. I do have a pair of these in the house. I don't have another pair of these. These are the only ones I've got, which are up here. And because of my arthritis, especially as I've got big hands, I've got short fingers, but I've got really big hands for a lady because I'm a big person. And I find a normal pair of scissors, these aren't too bad, these are Tim Holtz ones, but because I've got big hands, I find I can't control them as well, and also they hurt my hands. So I mean, I don't use my Tim Holtz very often. There's my pinking ones. These are really hard work to use these, and I just struggle with cutting. So I don't do a lot of ahead of fussy cutting because I can't just sit there. Plays up on my neck and on my hands as well. So I love these. They don't give me any grief on my fingers other than obviously any cutting would. So I do enjoy using those. It took a little while to get used to them, but I used to be a jewellery maker, so I'm used to using pliers, and these are just like pliers with scissors on the end, and that's why I got used to them fairly quickly, because I'm used to using tools. I thought I'd show you my glue books. Now I know you can't get all of the glue book in shop because they're quite big. And where's my ruler? I shall measure it for you. So that is probably about 31 centimeters, and it's just a tad over 12 inches. So it's near that's about just over 8.5 inches and 22 centimeters. So it's just slight fraction bigger than an A4 bit of paper. So all of the magazines I find are also it's a similar size to magazine images, and because I like to use full pages. Here's one of my dragons. So this is my steampunk and fantasy glue book. I made it from a paper carry bag. It's probably a Primark one, I expect. I think it is. And I have got a flap here. I've also got a pocket in the top, which is the bag. A pocket in here. I must admit I don't use it because oh, I've got a swan in there. Didn't know that was in there. Put him back in there. I don't use them. They're a bit too deep. I just find actually that I just put my full pieces in the back, and I've got a couple of pockets where I've flapped the bag up. And I moved the handles because the handles would have been on the top, which that's the top, and I repositioned the handles on the side, and it's like a handbag. I can carry it. Oh, sorry, let me just stop it bouncing. Sorry about that. So that's one of my glue books. Now it's a bit full. That I've used most of the full pages. I haven't finished everything, but I wanted to show you this one. This is a bit surreal type that I've done so far. I don't think I've done really many. So this is a vase page out of Daphne's diary with the flowers, and I put her and the monster out of my digital art magazines that my daughter gave me when she was trying digital art out. So a lot of these pages come out of these magazines because they're digital art. I like a bit of digital art. That's my vampire page. I do like Halloween, and I do like vampires specifically. I do quite like. My favourite being Van Helsing. I love Van Helsing film. Plus it's got my favourite actor in it, Hugh Jackman, the gorgeous Hugh. And that's the start of a Hobbit page, or yeah, Hobbit, because it's got him in it, whatever his name is. I can't think of it off the top of my head. And there's lots of book pages that I haven't. It's just scrap paper, scrap pages. This is out of a local magazine that comes round. It tells you what's going on in our town. I live in Dunstable Town Band. This would be quite a few years ago now. And I've got all sorts of painted papers and things like that in it. I've still got that one to finish off. Steampunk, I love steampunk, so I do have some steampunk stuff in here in various places. And I'm nearly giving you a flip through here, aren't I? That's my Star Wars page. So I started off with this. This is a Daphne's Diary page, and I thought, what a weird background. So this is a bit surreal-y, bit kind of fantasy, bit just weird. I'm just weird, quirky. I like to say quirky. So a galaxy far, far away. So they're all Star Wars images with a Daphne's Diary flowery background, which I thought was fun. I like it anyway. And she come out of digital art. These are all digital art. Got my dragon on there. I don't suppose you can see that. Whichever one he is. Virgil? No. Scott Thunderbird. There's a Thor there. There's some flowers. So you can see the sort of... I do a little bit of weird fantasy, sort of surreal-y. My favourite film, Jason Bourne. I love the Jason Bourne films. And again, I've done it on a Daphne's Diary flowery page. This usually has something written in the middle, and I've just covered over that bit and kept the flowers. Like this, you see, is Thinking of You, and I'll probably put something over there when I've figured out what's going on there. Dinotopia. This is she's still not completely stuck down because I don't know whether I'm going to put anything underneath her. I kind of made bits up because she was on 2 pages, and so that was a bit of a pain, so I joined it together, but I still might put some more stuff on that yet. So yeah, there's a bit of all sorts in this, and I must admit, that's my Fantastic Beasts page, and a bit of these are cosplayers. You see that? No. These are cosplay in here, and a bit of Harry Potter going on. Steampunk, Hunger Games. These are all stuff that I like. That's why they've gone in here. Types of films and that I like. So that's that one, and because I've got no full pages left as such, I sort of started a new one. Sorry, let's put that over there out the way. And I collaged the front with various, there's a map and various bits and pieces, digitals, just papers, and the idea was that I was going to put something on there, but I haven't done that yet. Just tell me what it is. I've got a couple of these. It's basically a lined notepad with a craft cover, and these lined pages are actually stitched in. I got them from Wilko's quite a while ago. I bought about 3 or 4 of them because I love the fact that they were stitching. I've pulled one apart to use the pages because these are slightly cream, which I thought looked a little bit vintagey. And yeah, this is a new glue book. I haven't got much in this at all. I did start it. I know he's in the other one, but this is, you can see the full picture of this. The other one's in pieces. There's another one here. So she's got skulls on. She's from digital art, and I think is the Monkey King or something, I think he's called. Hopefully you can see him. Can't tell. I've had to raise it a little bit so you could see as much of it as possible. But these are good starting points. Just get yourself a notebook and stick. I don't know. Sometimes I stick the pages together and you know, as I go through I might pull pages out, which is why I'm jumping around a little bit, because if you pull one page out you need to pull the other half out, so obviously that is a bit of a problem. But I might be gluing pages together, but to be honest, because it's sewn in, I'm not bothered if it gets really fat. The only time it'll bother me is if I can't work in it anymore. It depends on what size you want. I mean, I have got a little notebook from the works, pound, 200 pages of just lined paper, and that is perfectly good enough for a notebook, a glue book or a collage book. You can do whatever you want in it. The only thing is 200 pages, it's going to get really fat, so you probably will need to pull them out. But the thing is with this, you can just pull one out easily. If it's beginning to get bulky, you can pull whatever one you like out because it's on a ring bound. And what I intend to do with this sort of book is I'm going to collage the cover. I should probably take the sticker off. I left that on for your purposes. I shall probably collage the front page and maybe the inside cover as well. I don't know what I'll do with the back yet. And what I'm going to use it for is a notebook and a collage book. So every now and again I'll use it as a notebook. I can always take the notes out when I finish with them, and then I probably will be left with just collages in it. So I will generally go through it from front to back because that's how I'm going to use it. Just like it be a notebook. I know what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to be listing all my glass and stuff because I'm going to sell it off. So, and I thought, well, I can decorate a page every now and again, and it could be also dividers in the book for when I'm doing different things. I've got quite a lot of stuff to sell off. I've got beads to sell off. I've got all sorts of equipment to sell off because I need to get rid of it out of here. Get yourself a notebook and just collage in it. Pick the size you want. This, as it says, A5. If you want a small one, get an A6, which is half again that way, which is even smaller. Sort of more or less passport size is 8.6. You don't have to have any fancy journals or books that if you don't know how to make them. Doesn't matter. Just get a cheap notebook and get going. Right, so let's do a collage then. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this notebook and do the first page. I'm just going to put a very simple, either 3 or 5, I'm not quite sure yet. I've got a couple of ideas. I have found my little mini Echo de la Mode. This was a digital. I do have Echo de la Modes. These are petite ones. They've actually been shrunk down to a more sort of workable size for the digital. And I thought what I'll do is I will use one. I quite like this dark one on the front page because it really stands out. But I do like that yellow dress as well. And we could put dark stuff around it maybe. So she's got a kind of browny, greeny kind of hat, gloves, handbag. So we could use that colour to pick out. We can obviously use yellow as well. There's a pink dress in here. There's green, obviously, for the grass. I think what I'm going to do is I just might take the edge off it because there is what would have been a bit of a border there because there's a, you know, you can see sort of a definite line up here. So I think I'm going to do that. As I don't chop off my mode E. And I think I'll do the same this side. I don't think I want to go all the way there because some of this will get chopped off. And it sort of slims it down a little bit, makes it a little bit more elongated. And yeah, that's quite cute, isn't it? These are from my creative studio, and what I've done is I've put all the creamy beige ones in one packet and the white ones in another. I think I want to use the beigey coloured ones because it's starting to give some colour to the background. I like that one, and I quite like this one, so I'll get that one out. Yeah, those three all might work, and we haven't decided on anything yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a very simple collage using various bits and pieces that we're going to kind of gather up. I do have some washi tape, which I thought, as this one's yellow, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? That's quite nice, isn't it? It's a dandelion. Where do we want it? So that means I need to use this side. So you could do something simple like that, just 3 pieces. I've never really got on well with just using 3 pieces, I must say. I do have some stamps which we could stamp behind, and we could put that all over the page, or we could find some of my, excuse me a minute while I was reaching over, this is my scrap bin. We might be able to find bigger pieces in the bottom. Oh, there's a bit of one of my vintage magazines that I got from Postal Love, Sharika, and I've got all sorts of stuff in here. All a bit similar sort of colour. I want a little bit of more vintagey. Oh, that's Russian. I don't think we'll use Russian at the moment. We're not very happy with the Russians, are we? Excuse me. Should have some other foreign. Oh, that's English, but that's quite darkish. Some Dutch. Oh, a bit of music paper. Good to find some music paper. Some more Dutch. Let's see if we can find some more music paper in here. If not, I do have one of my music books with me, so I'll go and get one of them. I might start some new stuff. That's quite nice. It's kind of a bottom of a, it's come out of a book, but it's the bottom of a letter that was in the book. Don't like that, that's white. I want a little bit of darker colour. Nope, don't need lines, we've got lines. Yeah. This was given to me by Trudy, I think. She sent me that ephemera pack. It was a pack she got, and she said, I don't think I'll use it, would you like it? I said, I'm sure I'd use it. What's that? That's a bit of a digital. I think that was Shabba Dabba Doo Dahs. And I've got some pattern paper, and they come out of, they are pattern books, but I think that might be more appropriate for what we're going to use. Let's do that. Excuse me, sorry. Let's have a look at that. I don't know what we've got in here. all sorts of stuff in here. This was like a pack that she bought online somewhere. I don't know where she got it from. Maybe Amazon or somewhere like that. It's got all sorts of adverts and vintagey stuff in it. That's quite nice. I like that. Let's see. I've got a lot of stuff out now. No. Trouble is, they're all the similar colours. That's alright, really. It doesn't matter too much. Where's this? A nice bit of patina at the bottom there, look. I don't know if I've got any tissue. I'll be able to put some tissue behind. There's some tissue. Use tissue. Well, we'll get a bit out. We'll get that bit out. It's got sellotape on that one. That's got my Tim Holtz things in there. Got some paper dolls in there and the flowers. I've got any flowers in here. No, we'll use the washi tape, I think. This was a Matchmaker's box. If we're in the UK, you've probably heard of Matchmaker's chocolates. And they're like little sticks, matchsticks. And I made it a little, and it comes in this sort of box. That's why it's orange, because I like chocolate orange chocolate. And I put little Tim Holtzy, the little knob things on that you screw on. And I collaged him up, and I put a few steampunky stuff on the top. There is a video on my channel where I did that, and we'll do a bit of auditioning. Let's just shut that. I quite like that one. I quite like that. That's too white. Get rid of that. These are quite nice. This is quite a nice dark colour. I think this might be from one of my Reader's Digest type books. It's quite fragile. It's very, very brittle. And it's not actually a particularly old book, but the paper is probably lower, you know, kind of inferior. But see, look, already we've got something happening already. Where do we want that? Kind of liked it down here. So, well, we're doing all right, aren't we? I don't know whether I want that, but I might put some tissue just behind. And I'll just tear a bit off for now. And it is a little bit square, but then most of these bits are square. But we can kind of rough it up a bit. Let's just see what we do. So that's going to cover that. Let's swap it around a bit. I quite like this number though. I like this number sticking out. One, two, three, four, five. Not quite sure if they're all a bit too samey colours. No, don't like that. Yeah, I think unless I put that over here and then that one on top like that, and then have that just sitting So sort of layer that one up all on the same side, so we leave a little bit more white space. One thing about line stuff is you can get it straight, hopefully. Right, so don't forget this is going to be see-through, so I don't quite know if I actually want a proper flower that is yellow or pink. I've got a pink one somewhere. Where did I put it? I think I might have put it. I've got this book as well with me because I wasn't sure which journal I was going to use. Let's see, that pink goes quite nicely with that. Ooh. Let's take that out. So I don't really want it down here now with this. I don't know whether that should go on the top. Like that. Get these out of the way because they're distracting. They're distracting me. I'll probably take that stalk off, actually, thinking about it. I think I will, because I'm going to use it. It's got a little bit of yellow in it. It's got a slightly darker pink, but it's got the same pink as that practically. So we will use this. You are gone, stalk, and then I can put you whichever way I want to do it. What do I want? I like it like that, I think. What I'm trying to do is just cover that corner up, or that edge, because if you go too far over, then you've lost a lot of this, but you've also got a little bit of a weird stuff here. Now you could do two things. You could put the flower in there like that if you wanted to, or we can pull it back over and a bit more of this shows, and then we could put the flower under here, or we can put it over the top. You're going to cover over something or other on here because it's quite a large piece of, what do we call it, image, that's the word. We could do a bit of stamping in the background, and that will change it again, because that white space changes to a decorated space. So do we want some leaves, or do we want a frame circle? That might be nice. So at the moment I think I like this here, and probably that there, and then we'll just figure out the flower, or whether we want to move this around a little bit more and actually fill the space up here with the flower. I'll put it over here. I don't know where I want it now, but I do like the flower. I think that's a really lovely match to that pink one, and it's got yellow too. I think I like the flower here. I'm not quite sure where yet. I kind of, if we tip it, it doesn't take up and it doesn't stick over the edge. I don't really want it sticking out the edge. Oh, that's gone a bit high. I think we'll do this one here, and we'll lift that off for a minute, and I can do as much as I want. I know you won't see some of this. Let's just put some up here, because it might show underneath the tissue paper. Like that. Let's see now. And we put her back. See, it's already changed that space. I think what we do is we'll stick these 3 down, take those off, and then I could actually stamp on this as well, but I haven't got any colours up here. That's the only trouble. Right, let's pop these down first. So we'll do this one. And with tissue, I tend to put the glue on the page. I know roughly where I have it, and when I do it, I do add it. Oh, got a bit of a chunk there. It's got stuck under there, hasn't it? Oh, come out, you devil. Right. That'll do, that'll do, that'll do. So it could wrinkle. I'm not bothered. I'm never bothered by wrinkling. I'm never bothered about it not being fully stuck everywhere. I could do with a little bit more there though. Otherwise it might lift up and then it'll get bent. This one I can just do that. I've just wanted this little tiny bit of line to come out at the bottom, and then this one is going over here, isn't it? Somewhere here. We need our lady to work out where we want it. Right, I think we'll put it about there. Straighten it up. It is better to put it on the piece, but I just like to put it down where I want it, and then I can always go back and give it some sticky stuff afterwards. That one and that one. It's a bit cold up here, so sometimes the glues don't work as well, but I can always put it down at a later date. Oh, nothing's sticking. What's the matter with you, silly glue? We will stick you down. Oh, that's stuck there now. Maybe I hadn't got enough on. It's sticking now, I've got this out. That's better. Right, we're going to stick our lady down. So I was going to use this for her anyway. And it's all about where you want it. So I want it straight, I want this showing, I want this bit here to be showing and obviously hopefully lined up fairly well against the edge of the book, so it looks straight. I very rarely have straight. It is crooked. Some it's crooked. I think that's crooked now, looking at it. There we are, down. I don't make any massive issues about being straight. I think I put a 2i. Look, see, I should have put the flower on and all. I'd have known to bring her down a bit then. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. I think what I'll do is, I'll put it there. I don't mind a little bit sticking out. I'm not one for chopping off. I don't like chopping off edges. I like it to be as whole as possible. That's just me. A lot of people just chop off the edges and so it's flush with the edge of the paper. It doesn't bother me. I'd rather have it, oh no, that's too high, like that. That'd be fine. So these bits are only just barely going off the edge. There we are. One finished collage. I say finished. I don't always, oh, I haven't put my lid on. Ooh. I don't always call it finished. I can come back and tweak it if I want to, and so can you. You can tweak anything you like. It's your collage, you can do what you want. There we go. What do you think? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a bit of stamping in the background. Don't have to count it, but it's just background stuff. So there's my first page. Lovely yellow dress. I love my 50s vintage. Well, this is 1949, this one. I've covered the date out now, but it had 1949 on these. Or 48, one or the other. Can't remember. I will have to show you some of my vintage magazines. Because some of mine are now out of copyright, so I'll be able to copy them up without damaging them, because I kind of collect them. I don't really want to damage them. I don't want to cut them out. The bit that you saw me finding the box over there, that is one that was not a fashion one. It was kind of a woman's, it's about the home, it's got like embroidery in it, you know, that sort of stuff. And slowly over time I've used bits of it here and there, and I don't mind using that one. I think I got it in my Christmas advent box, not last year, I got it the year before, so 2020. I used it in, because I was going to use something that I got from each package, and I'll give you a little bit of a heads up. I have got an idea for December daily this year. It won't be daily, but it will be through December. But I'll give you that update nearer the time. And I hope you are getting something from the series and it's helping you to collage yourself. Just jump in there. I'm talking to Lisa. So I'm sorry it's taken a bit long to get the next part out. There's been lots and lots going on at home with my mum and what have you, and I just, every time I come up here to try and do a video, something else comes up, and she is elderly and we are trying to sort out some things for her that has been a little bit upsetting for her, but also she's ready to do what we want to do. And I do hope to do a journal along very soon, and I can tell you all about that in my chit chat videos rather than in this tutorial type video. So that's the end of part 3. I have made part 4 because I've already done it, and I've just got to finish that one off as well. This one ended up so long that I've had to split the video again. And I hope you are getting something from the series and enjoying what I'm doing. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It really does help me being seen by YouTube and getting my videos out there. And I would love you to subscribe if you haven't already, and I welcome to any new subscribers that have come over from various other ladies that have given me the odd shout out. I know Asia just has given me a shout out for one of the videos I've put up with using her stamps, so thank you if you're from her channel. And I will be getting part 4 up very soon because it's more or less ready, and I am hoping to see you in that one. Stay safe, keep well, and thank you for watching, and bye for now.